Now, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Tel Aviv at the start of a Mideast tour. The visit is designed to consolidate the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. Blinken is holding talks with Israeli leaders before traveling to meet with leaders of the Palestinian Authority, Jordan, and Egypt in a bid to open the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. The territory was devastated by Israeli airstrikes launched in retribution for Hamas rocket attacks on Israeli cities. At a press conference with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Blinken appealed for humanity and empathy, especially in times of conflict.
Losses on both sides were profound. Casualties are often reduced to numbers. But behind every number is an individual human being, a daughter, a son, a father, a mother, a grandparent, a best friend. And as the Talmud teaches, to lose a life is to lose the whole world, whether that life is Palestinian or Israeli.
Now, at that same press conference, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized the need for international cooperation to ensure stability in the region.
We need to work together to expand normalization between Israel and Arab and the Muslim world and deepen the peace treaties that we already have. We discussed also how to improve the lives and the conditions of the Palestinians, the humanitarian conditions in Gaza, as well as building economic growth for Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, with international cooperation and participation.
Our correspondent Tanya Kramer is following this story for us, and she joins us from Jerusalem. Hi, Tanya. What more can you tell us about what Antony Blinken and Benjamin Netanyahu have been saying?
Well, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, first of all, thanked the American administration, U.S. President Joe Biden, for the support in Israel's right to defend itself. That was very important to him. As a second point already, then he talked about the Iran nuclear deal. He said he hopes that the U.S. would not go back to the old nuclear deal that is currently discussed with the international community. And what we just heard also in the from Prime Minister Netanyahu, he talked about peace, but mainly peace with the Arab nations, the Abraham Accords he was referring to, but also he talked about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And he conditioned that it needs to get better there, but he conditioned that also on the return of the missing soldiers and also the 2 Israelis that are being held in Gaza. Now, Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, addressed more the humanitarian situation. He said it's a very difficult situation in Gaza and that he would make a major announcement on rehabilitation and rebuilding Gaza, but also the need to make sure that this doesn't benefit Hamas. And he only brushed the issue of the Iran nuclear deal very, very briefly.
Well, we know that he wants to stabilize the ceasefire that's in place. But Tanya, looking ahead, is it realistic to expect any steps towards Israeli-Palestinian peace talks?
Well, that's actually the question here, because at the moment the focus seems to be to securing the ceasefire that was brokered by Egypt between Hamas and Israel, and to focus on rehabilitation or reconstruction of Gaza that is that is needed. There needs to be also, discussion about a mechanism to bring in, for example, building materials. So we are there at the very, very beginning of this. Although the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken he said that, there needs to be an address of the underlying causes for this conflict. But, we didn't get a sense that anything is being done in this regard to find also a political solution to all of this. We are here at the very beginning, it seems. And at the same time, we understand also it's important for the American administration, at least, to re-strengthen ties with the Palestinian Authority in the occupied West Bank. He's going to meet the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas now in the afternoon, because these ties had been strained under the Trump administration.
Our correspondent Tanya Kramer reporting from Jerusalem. Thank you.